It is a very big help when you have a person who is famous and liked by everyone. This person should be known not just in their own town or their own country, but all across the big wide world. People really do not change that much as the years go by. They like to look at people who stay the same. They like people who keep their promises and never stop doing their jobs. When someone is constant, it means they are like a strong tree that does not fall over in a storm. People recognize this kind of strength. They feel safe when they see a face they have known for a long time. It makes them feel like the world is going to be okay. This kind of fame is like a superpower because it builds trust that lasts for many, many years. There's a special time in every story about kings and queens when the rules are not written down in books with ink. Instead, these rules are written in the quiet moments when no one is talking. It is a time of silence. You can see these rules in the way someone looks at another person across a very long dinner table. You can see them when one lady gets to wear a shiny crown called a tiara and another lady does not get to wear one at all. Sometimes a person asks for something behind the big, heavy doors of a palace, and the answer is a very firm no. This no is not shouted, but it is very loud in the silence. These are the moments that change history even if no one says a word out loud to the news reporters or the public. That quiet but very strong moment happened recently. The person at the center of this big story was not the king. It was not the beautiful Princess Catherine whom many people love. It was not even Queen Camilla, even though she really wanted to be the main character in this part of the story. The person who stood up and made a choice was Princess Anne. She is known for being very tough and very hard to change. She is like a wall that does not move. She is very protective of the things that Princess Diana left behind. Princess Diana was a very famous lady who died a long time ago, but people still love her very much. When Camilla asked to use a very special piece of jewelry, Princess Anne was the one who said no. Camilla is the Queen Consort of England, which is a very high job. She reached out her hand for the most important and emotional piece of jewelry in the whole royal collection. This jewelry is more than just shiny stones. It is full of feelings and memories. Princess Anne did not write a long letter or make a big announcement on the television to say no. She did something much more powerful than that. She used a kind of refusal that does not need any words to explain it. When you are in a palace, you learn how to understand what people are thinking just by the way they stand or the way they look at you. Princess Anne made it very clear that some things are not meant to be touched by everyone. Everyone who lives or works in that big palace already knows exactly why Princess Anne said no. They understand the history and the feelings that are hidden inside the jewelry boxes. By the time you get to the end of this long story, you will understand everything about that special tiara. You will learn where it came from a long time ago and who got to wear it on their head. You will also learn about who was told they could not wear it. This story shows us how power works inside the British royal family. It is like an invisible building made of rules and feelings. Please stay with me and keep reading, because this story is about much more than just pretty diamonds and pearls. It is about a tiara that carries a ghost from the past. To really understand why this moment is so important, you have to know what the Cambridge lover's knot tiara is. It is not just a pretty thing to wear to a party. It is like a time machine made of silver and gold. Every single time it is taken out of its soft velvet box, it brings back more than 100 years of history. It brings back stories of sadness, stories of love, and the big things people expect from a royal family. Queen Mary was a queen a long time ago, and she asked the famous jewelers named Garrard to make it in the year 1913. It has 19 beautiful pearls that look like big, shiny teardrops. These pearls hang from arches made of diamonds that sparkle very brightly. Each little part of the tiara is shaped like a knot, and they glitter with silver and gold. Queen Mary had this tiara made because she wanted to remember her grandmother, Princess Augusta. Princess Augusta was the Duchess of Cambridge, and Queen Mary thought she was a wonderful woman. The design for this tiara was already 200 years old when Queen Mary decided to make it again. She wanted something that looked like it belonged in a history book, but also looked amazing on a real, living woman. For a long time, the tiara stayed quiet. It was used for royal life, but it was not famous yet. Queen Elizabeth II got it from her grandmother. She wore it in the 1950s with a very cool and elegant style. Then, the tiara was put away in a safe place for a while. It was hidden and kept for a special time. Then came the year 1981. This was the year a young lady named Lady Diana Spencer got married to Prince Charles. It was a huge wedding, and people all over the world watched it on their televisions. They called it the wedding of the century. The Queen gave Diana this tiara as a gift for her wedding. When Diana put it on, something amazing happened. She changed the tiara forever. She wore the lover's not tiara to big dinners with leaders from other countries, and she looked more beautiful than anyone else in the room. She wore it when she traveled to faraway places like Hong Kong and Saudi Arabia. She wore it to meetings and big palace events. She had so much charm that people stopped thinking of the tiara as just an old piece of jewelry. They started thinking of it as Diana's tiara. Diana once made a joke and said the tiara gave her headaches. This is because it is very, very heavy and made of hard metal and big stones, but she kept wearing it anyway because she knew what the tiara told the world about her. It told people she was a real princess and that she belonged in the royal family. But then, a very sad thing happened in 1997. Diana died in a car accident in Paris. The whole world was very, very sad. After she died, the tiara was put back into a dark vault under the palace. It stayed there, untouched and unseen, for 18 long years. It was as if the palace was crying for her, and no one wanted to put that tiara on another woman's head. It just sat there in the dark silence. Before we talk about the big fight that happened in the palace, you need to understand how the royal jewelry vault works. A lot of people think the royal jewels are like a big closet where any princess can just go in and pick whatever she wants to wear. They think they can trade pieces like children trade toys. But that is not how it works at all. It is much more serious than that. The jewelry collection is split into different groups, and each group has its own special rules. Some pieces of jewelry belong to the country and the crown itself. These are called heirlooms. They go from one king or queen to the next one. They cannot be sold, and they cannot be given away as a gift. They belong to the job of being the king, not to the person. There are other pieces of jewelry that are personal property. This means an individual person in the royal family owns them because they bought them or their parents gave them to them. They can do whatever they want with those pieces. But there is a third group of jewelry that is very complicated. These are pieces that belong to the person sitting on the throne, like King Charles, but they are lent to other family members for special nights. The Cambridge lover's not tiara is in this middle group. It belonged to Queen Elizabeth, and now it belongs to King Charles. This means the king is the one who gets to say who wears it. But usually he does not just give a direct order. Instead, there is an understanding between everyone. The women in the royal family pick their tiaras based on 3 invisible rules. First, they think about what is right for the event they are going to. Second, they think about what they like and what looks good on them. Third, and most importantly, they have to be aware of the feelings of other people, both people who are alive and people who have died. Nobody has to write a note that says, "Do not touch Diana's tiara." Everyone just knows it. The feelings in the family act like a locked door. Even though Princess Anne does not own the jewelry, she has a lot of moral authority. This means people respect her and listen to her because she has been there for a long time and she knows what is right. When Princess Anne speaks, people listen even if they are in a quiet hallway or having tea. Now you have to wonder, what did Camilla actually ask for? And why did Anne tell her she could not have it? We should be fair and say one thing. Camilla has a lot of beautiful tiaras. She is one of the most decorated women in the whole world. She has a favorite one called the Greville tiara. It is made of diamonds and looks like a honeycomb. It was made by a famous company called Boucheron for a lady named Dame Margaret Greville. She left it to the Queen Mother in 1942, and eventually it was given to Camilla. She wears it all the time to big dinners and important events. It has become a part of who she is as a royal. Camilla also wears a very big tiara called the Delhi Durbar tiara. She has worn a sapphire tiara that is bright blue. Recently, she wore a tiara that has more than 400 diamonds in it. She even wore an emerald tiara that belonged to Princess Eugenie. So Camilla has plenty of jewelry. She does not need more. This is why people ask, why would she want the lover's knot? The answer makes some people feel uncomfortable. Some people who work in the palace think it was not really about the diamonds. It was about what the tiara represents. If Camilla wore Diana's favorite tiara, it would send a message to the whole world. It would say that she has completely replaced Diana and that she is now the owner of Diana's things. Wearing that tiara would be a very big statement. It would be like saying, "I am the winner." Princess Anne saw how much Diana suffered when she was alive, and understands what Diana meant to the people who loved her. Anne has her own feelings about her brother's first wife, and she was not going to let Camilla make that statement. Did Camilla know that Anne would say no, or was she surprised when someone finally stood up to her? To understand Anne, you have to know that she is 74 years old. She has been working for the royal family since before most famous people today were even born. She does more work than almost anyone else in the family. She does not try to get attention or act like a star. Princess Anne is the person who remembers the old ways of doing things. She remembers what the royal family was like before there were cameras everywhere and before everything was on the internet. She was there when Charles and Diana got married. She was there when their marriage stopped working and they got a divorce. She was there during the very sad days after Diana died in Paris. She saw the newspapers being mean to her family. She has watched the monarchy almost fall apart, and she has watched it slowly get strong again. Her relationship with Diana was not always easy. They were very different people. Anne was quiet and tough, while Diana was very emotional. But when someone dies, things change. Princess Anne has become a protector of Diana's memory. She does not talk about it on the news, but she shows it through her choices. She makes sure that Diana's memory is treated with respect. When Princess Catherine started wearing the lover's knot tiara in 2015, Princess Anne was happy about it. This is because Catherine is the new Princess of Wales. That was Diana's title, too. Catherine is doing the same job Diana did. So it makes sense for Catherine to wear the tiara. It shows that the family is continuing in a good way. But Camilla is different. Camilla was the other woman in the marriage. Even if Camilla is the queen now, many people still remember the past. The emotional reality has not changed for a lot of people. When Camilla tried to get the lover's knot tiara, Anne's refusal was very strong because of who Anne is. Reports say Camilla was very angry about this. Have you ever seen someone stand up to a powerful person just because they knew they were doing the right thing? That is what Anne did. While all this drama was happening inside the palace, Catherine was fighting a very different battle. In the beginning of 2024, Catherine told the world she had cancer. This made her fans very sad. She stayed away from the public for a long time to get better. For many months, no one saw Catherine. She did not go to any parties or events. The lover's knot tiara stayed in the vault. Then in July 2025, something wonderful happened. There was a big dinner at Windsor Castle for the President of France. Catherine walked into the room wearing a beautiful red dress with a long cape, and on her head she was wearing the Cambridge lover's knot tiara. It was sparkling under the lights. The internet went crazy. People were so happy to see her looking healthy and beautiful. They said she looked just like a queen. Some people even cried because they were so happy. Reporters said it was one of the best royal moments in 10 years. Wife of the French president looked at Catherine with a lot of respect. Every news station showed her picture, and almost every person who saw the picture thought of Princess Diana. Catherine looked like Diana, she moved with grace like Diana, and she was wearing Diana's favorite crown. 2 months later, in September 2025, Catherine wore it again for a dinner with the President of the United States. She wore a gold dress made of lace. The President said she looked radiant and very healthy. Prince William was right there with her. Queen Camilla was there too, but Catherine was the one everyone was looking at. She was the one who looked like the true star of the family. Then in December 2025, Catherine did something that surprised everyone. She wore a different tiara that belonged to Queen Victoria. It was made of rubies and diamonds and had not been seen in 20 years. This showed that Catherine was becoming her own person. She was not just trying to be like Diana anymore. She was building her own history as a royal lady. She was looking back at all the queens from the past and taking her place among them. This is the Catherine who stood in the way of Camilla's plan. She did not have to say anything. She just had to show that she was the one who deserved to wear the most important jewelry. The British royal family is better at one thing than almost anyone else. They can talk without using any words. Picking a tiara is never just about looking pretty. It is a message. When Catherine wears the lover's knot, she is saying, "I am carrying on Diana's work." She is saying she is proud of the past, but also moving into the future. When Camilla wears a different rare piece of jewelry, she is saying, "I am working hard to earn my place here." When Princess Anne wears her own diamond tiara that she has had for 50 years, she is saying, "I am always here and I never change." These are not accidents. It is a special royal language. The rule about Diana's tiara is the best example of this. There is no law that says Camilla cannot wear it. There is no rule book that forbids it, but there is a shared feeling among all the royals and the people who work for them. They know that some objects are full of memories. The lover's knot is not just shiny stones. It is a symbol of a woman who was loved by the whole world. Putting it on the wrong person would be a very big mistake. It would feel wrong to almost everyone. This is something you cannot learn in school. You just have to feel it in your heart. Princess Anne's "no" shows that there are still people in the palace who care about these feelings. Camilla's anger about being told "no" shows us something about her. If you feel safe and happy in your job, you do not get mad about a piece of jewelry. You have so many other beautiful things to wear. You do not need the one thing that causes trouble. Unless, of course, the tiara was the only thing that would make you feel like you finally won. Camilla has worked very hard for 10 years to make people like her. She has helped people learn to read and helped women who were hurt. She has done a good job. Now that Charles is king, she has a very high rank. Her name is on all the important papers, but she still cannot have the tiara. This must be very frustrating for her. She has almost everything, but there is one thing she can never have. She can never have the tiara because of a woman who died almost 30 years ago. Diana's shadow is still there, and it covers the whole palace. Camilla's anger shows that she has not fully accepted that she will always be in Diana's shadow. She wants to be the most important one, but she cannot be. Princess Anne, who remembers everything that happened in the past, made sure that Camilla knew her place. Anne does not forget the past, and she guards the family's history very carefully to make sure it stays right. What would Diana have thought about all of this? We cannot know for sure, but we can guess. She probably would have looked at Catherine and felt very proud. Catherine is like Diana in many ways. She connects with people and makes them feel special. She uses her fame to help people with mental health and cancer. She took Diana's kind way of doing things and made it her own. Diana wore the tiara like she earned it, and Catherine wears it like she is keeping a promise. As for Camilla, Diana was very sad when Camilla was in her life. But Diana also wanted to move forward and change the world. The fact that the tiara is still off-limits to Camilla is a very interesting thing. It shows that the palace is finally listening to feelings instead of just following old rules. They are admitting that some things do not change just because time goes by. Diana's tiara is still hers in a way that is very deep. The people who loved her are making sure that everyone remembers that. Catherine is 43 years old now, and she is very confident. She has many more years to be the Princess of Wales and then the Queen. She will wear the lovers not many more times. Every time she does, people will talk about Diana. In the future, the tiara might go to a new person. Maybe Prince George's wife will wear it one day, or maybe Princess Charlotte will wear it. Charlotte is the daughter of Prince William and Catherine. She is already learning how to be a royal. She even wore a pretty headpiece at the king's coronation that looked like a tiara. Charlotte has Diana's blood and Catherine's heart. One day, she might put on the lover's knot and make it her own. There is another tiara called the Spencer tiara that Diana wore on her wedding day. That one does not belong to the king. It belongs to Diana's brother. He will keep it for his own family. Spencer tiara will stay with Diana's family to remember who she was before she became a princess. But the lover's knot belongs to the crown. It belongs to the women who have the title that Diana once had. The story of this tiara is a small picture of what the whole royal family is doing right now. They are trying to live in the modern world while still holding on to their history. They are caught between what happened a long time ago and what will happen in the future. They have to listen to what the people feel. In 1997, they almost lost their fans because they seemed cold. They learned that symbols are very important. They learned that you cannot ignore what people feel in their hearts. The choices they make about the tiara today show that they finally understand this lesson. Camilla is not wearing the tiara because she knows it would make people upset. Catherine is wearing it because the world has accepted her as the person who should have it. Princess Anne's firm no was the palace's way of remembering its own identity. It was not about being mean, it was about being wise. In a world where everyone has a phone and a camera, every little thing a royal does is watched by millions. Being able to say, "not that one," is a sign of real power. The lover's knot tiara is worth a lot of money, about $2.7 million, but its real value is much higher than that. It carries the dreams of Queen Mary. It carries the dignity of Queen Elizabeth. It carries the light and the laughter of Princess Diana, even if it gave her a headache. It carries the strength of Princess Catherine, who wore it after she got better from being sick. And it carries the story of Princess Anne, who stood up and said no to protect a memory. The royal family is not perfect, and they have a lot of drama, but they also have people who care about what is right. In the 19 pearls and the sparkling diamonds, you see the power of a woman who was born to be a princess. Diana was loved so much that even 30 years after she left us, her tiara still has her name on it. It will always be Diana's tiara. This story teaches us that some things are more important than being a queen or having a high rank. Respect and memory are the things that truly last forever. If you liked learning about this secret palace story and the invisible rules of the royal family, please remember that history is made of these small, quiet moments. The tiara is just a beautiful object, but the stories it tells are what make it special to the whole world. Every time Catherine puts that tiara on, she is telling a story of survival and love. She's telling the world that the family is okay and that they are looking after the things that matter. And every time Camilla wears a different tiara, she is showing that she respects the boundaries that have been set. Princess Anne is the one who keeps everything in balance. She is the guardian of the vault and the guardian of the family's heart. Without her, things might have been very different. But because she was there, the lover's knot remains a symbol of grace and the enduring memory of the Princess of Hearts. It is a story that will be told for many more hundreds of years to come. As we look to the future, we see a monarchy that is trying to be better. They are trying to be more human. By honoring Diana's memory through this tiara, they are showing the world that they have a heart. They are showing that they remember the people who helped them get to where they are today. The lover's knot is a bridge between the past and the future. It is a sign that even in a world that changes very fast, some things will always stay the same. The pearls will still hang like teardrops, the diamonds will still sparkle, and the memory of the woman who made it famous will never, ever fade away from our minds. Princess Anne's refusal might seem like a small thing, but it was a very big deal. It showed that rank is not everything. Just because someone is a queen does not mean they can have whatever they want. There are things that are more important than rank, like respect for the people who came before us. This is a lesson for everyone, not just for royals. We should all respect the things that others have left behind. We should all be like Princess Anne sometimes and say no when something doesn't feel right. That is how we keep our history safe, and how we make sure that the future is built on a good and strong foundation of truth and kindness. In the end, the story of the Cambridge Lovers' Knot Tiara is a story of 3 women. It is a story of Diana, who gave it a soul. It is a story of Catherine, who gives it a future. And it is a story of Anne, who gives it protection. Together, these women show us what it means to be a royal in the modern world. They show us that it is not just about wearing a crown, but about how you carry yourself and how you treat the memories of others. The tiara will continue to shine, and we will continue to watch, waiting to see what the next chapter of this amazing royal story will be. It is a beautiful history that belongs to all of us.